Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, it's a beautiful morning this morning. It did rain a little bit last night, but we have a very nice morning this morning, but that's all supposed to change. We're supposed to get some thunderstorms blowing through today. There is a risk of some of it being severe, but it doesn't look like a very high risk, so we'll keep our fingers crossed that we'll be all right. We're also supposed to get some heavy rain, so there is a flood warning now, but I think we'll be all right. We're getting used to this, right? I mean, if you've lived here any length of time, this is normal. But what's not normal is what's going on in the world. It's just a bunch of crazy clown world. The parts of the electric grid in Spain and Portugal have been restored, but there's still this debate of what caused it, which is just strange to me. That the weird atmospheric anomaly thing. Now they're coming out, Portugal's coming out and saying, no, that's not what we said. That's not what we said. We didn't say that. Cyber attack thing, probably not. Solar flare, probably not. Now the theory is it was a failure of the renewable energy grid. Over in Europe, especially in that area, they've really been pushing hard for the solar panels and the windmills and all that kind of stuff to get on this net zero thing. And now they're saying that, well, maybe it was because of that. But either way, parts of it have been restored, but I think there's still something more to it. I suspect we'll probably never know the truth, which is common. I mean, even when an event happens and later on they come out and say, oh, this, what happened, usually it's not the truth. Sometimes it takes years for the real truth to come to the surface. The whole tariff, all that kind of stuff, economy, recession, it's becoming much more noticeable now. And I said that, I believe it was Sunday or Monday morning. I said that I think probably starting this week, we're going to start seeing a lot more conversation about that. And then that's actually become quite true. There's virtually no source that I can find that is saying anything other than a recession is coming very shortly. Now, again, I've been saying for years that we've been in a recession of Main Street, maybe not Wall Street, but the average peasant on the street, and I'm including myself in that. We're not peasants, but in the minds of these elites we are. They may not say that, but that's what we are. Anyways, we have been feeling it for a few years now. But anyways, they're saying that probably within the next 2 to 3 weeks, the numbers will start showing a significant drop in the economy. There's already been layoffs. UPS has announced that they're laying off 20,000 workers because of the tariffs and the economy, that things are starting to slow down. There's talk of how many potential, and so far it's not happened, but the potential for thousands of truckers here in the United States to lose their job or to just not have work, just not have anything to do. Dock workers the same way. Amazon and many other retailers like Chinese Temu and stuff like that have started imposing a tariff charge when you purchase certain items online, and some of those charges are as much as 150% increase of what the item is that you're purchasing. So in other words, the stuff's starting to sink in. Experts in the economic world, and it's already being talked about in mainstream news. I know mainstream news, it's all fake news, but that they're saying that probably by mid-May, which is just a couple of weeks away, folks. We're going to be into May this week, so a couple of weeks from now, that store shelves will start to look a little bit more bare. It'll start being noticeable. That the supply chain or the tariffs will start catching up with the supply chain. And so that in a couple of weeks, the average American will start noticing their shelves of the stores a little thinner than normal. And and by the end of May into mid-June, it will be very apparent that there's a supply chain issue going on, that lots of items will just be gone. They won't exist. And I understand that the hope, or what we're being told, is that, well, you just start buying American-made goods, right? You'll start buying American products. Well, the problem is, number one, is there's a lot of these items, there are no American-made products. They're just not. There's been times over the last several years that I have gone to great extents to try to find an American-made item versus something, imported overseas on a particular thing that I want, and I can't find it. It doesn't exist. And even when you do find it, unfortunately, the cost is quite high. So there's a shock coming to the American people. I mean, even if tomorrow, today, like I said, what was it, last couple of days, even if right now the president said, okay, it's all done, we're dropping all tariffs, everything goes back to normal, there will still be, most likely, a 2 to 4, maybe 6 week period where you're going to see bare shelves. You're going to see price increases. Will it recover? If things ended today, it's possible, yes. Most likely it would. But you're still going to see a major disruption. And we know this because, you're looking at things like ships coming in from overseas. We're looking at manufacturing in other countries, not just China, that's already started slowing down. They're already doing layoffs, things like that. It would take a little bit longer. And if you remember during COVID, that even when everything was lifted and everything was back to normal, it took a long time. And even a lot of people believe and say, and I'm with you, that even today, the supply chain still hasn't recovered. It's still not back to normal. The store shelves and items still aren't to the level they were before COVID. You're not able to get things. Things sometimes still take a long time to get to you, still on back order. It still hasn't recovered. And we're years past COVID. And this is going to be a much bigger disruption because with COVID, it was a slowdown. With this, it's basically cutting the head off, is what it is. It's going to be, at least it has the potential to be very dramatic, and people need to be getting ready for that. I know that there's a lot of other things going on, and it's true. All these other things that are happening are, in a lot of ways, equally important. There's new warnings of another pandemic coming. It just came out this morning. Oh, there's this other disease that could, turn into another pandemic for the American people. And probably so. I mean, we've all been sitting around waiting for the next one to happen. I have no idea what that rattling is around. There's something in my floorboard. It's driving me nuts too, so don't worry about it. I'll fix it when we get done with this video. Something's rolling around down there. So yeah, another pandemic is what they're saying could potentially happen soon. There's all kinds of, I guess, this weekend, Canada, or yesterday, Canada elected a new prime minister, the most liberal one ever, or something crazy like that. I didn't really follow it. Nothing against you Canadians, but I'm not Canadian, so I wasn't really paying much attention to it. But that happened. And Canada is moving closer and closer to China, right? Becoming more and more friends with China, moving away from the United States, which I don't think is a good thing. I don't think it's a good thing. I don't have anything against Canadians. I understand that some of them can be quite liberal, and some of the policies there are very liberal. I get it. I don't have anything against Canadians. I've had many friends that were Canadians. I don't have anything against them. And I think losing Canada as a partner and a friend is not a good idea. I don't think it is. I think that we should become stronger allies. There's just so much going on, and none of it really looks all that great. And all the good stuff the good stuff that everyone was really hoping for, and not a lot of it's really happening. We're not seeing large amounts of illegals being deported out of this country. We still don't know where the Epstein files are. All these audits and stuff so that we could see if Fort Knox really has what it says it has. That's probably never going to happen. A lot of stuff like, doing away with the Department of Education. Yeah, that's not happened. All that kind of stuff. So it's become quite an interesting twist. And I think all of the craziness that's going on is in a lot of ways to distract from that. Distract from the things that aren't really happening that we wanted to happen. And to convince people that the things that are happening are for the good. It's okay for you to go even more broke. It's okay for you to slip a little bit further down the food chain while the billionaires get a little bit wealthier as they consume more of your wealth. Because that's what all this stuff is. It's a wealth transfer. I've always said that wealth is kind of like energy and matter, right? It doesn't get destroyed. It just gets moved and transferred into something different. And that's what we're seeing. So if you lose wealth, it's not like it just poofs and vanishes and no longer exists. Someone else is consuming that wealth. And so as people in the United States become poorer, the recession and everything else, someone else is becoming more wealthy. And the gap between the top tier and the average and low tier is becoming wider and wider. Billionaires are becoming wealthier. The big landowners are consuming more land. It's just what's happening. And you and I are becoming smaller, more insignificant, and less necessary, especially with AI and robotics and all that kind of stuff. There's a big game being played, folks. And it's being played on us. So you need to wake up and get ready. Get your houses in order. This immediate stuff with the tariffs and the supply chain, it's going to get real. You better start. I know that most of you are probably in the same boat as us and many other people we know. You're not in the best place financially right now. You're already feeling it. You've been feeling it for a while. So to go out and stock up heavily might not be possible for you. But do the best that you can, especially on things that you would think would become short in supply, because a big hit is coming to the United States very soon. This week probably you'll start seeing a little bit of stuff, but by 2, maybe 3 weeks from now, it's going to become pretty obvious that America is in short supply of things and in the middle of a recession. So get your houses in order. Prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.